Welcome to the conference talk show. We're back. And Tom, when we started this, it's a love note to our partners and colleagues in the meetings and event industry. Oh, I forgot. I'm Liz Green. Good morning.
And I'm Tom Singer, and we are the hosts of the conference talk show.
We are. And as I said, it's a love note to our meetings industry colleagues. And we try very hard to bring new, cutting edge information about what people are trying, what people are finding, challenging, successful, whatever it is, as we go through what is now just about 2 years in this crazy time.
Well, it's one of those things that the really sort of the best amongst us in the meetings business have had to throw a lot of spaghetti against the wall in the last 2 years. Just to see what's going to stick. And that's one of the things I've loved about this show is we have encountered a lot of really good ideas from people who are shaking things up in the world of meetings.
Well, I think one of the things that has come out of this time of challenge is for people who are smart, both on the professional speaker side and on the professional meeting planners and event planners, is there's an opportunity for us really to collaborate. As professional speakers, we see things that we can bring to the table. As event professionals, they have insights. Our guests today, they did something pretty special not too long ago, and we got 3 people to come and tell us about how they created a $100,000 stage for an MPI Tennessee event. Sounds pretty cool, huh? Coming to
awesome.
Us.
It's awesome. And I think that they are a perfect example of something that you and I have talked a lot about, and that is the people in the meetings business who have succeeded have really embraced this idea of community and collaboration. And that's exactly what our guests did for this event.
They did indeed. So we have, as I said, 3. First, we have Shannon Jones. She is a CMP. She is an event professional for a global law firm, but also, as many of us, a super volunteer for her chapter of MPI and MPI. Who else do we have, Tom?
We also have Jessica Pettit. Now, Jessa is a diversity speaker who actually puts humor and fun all around those untouchable subjects that so many of us think we can't talk about. And I know a secret about her. She likes cheese. All kinds of cheese.
Excellent. And we also have back again Beth Z, your nerdy best friend, my nerdy best friend. She brings tech tools to make life easier. And don't we all want that? Everybody, welcome to the conference talk show. Woo! All right, Beth and Jess, I heard about this idea in its infancy. Tell us how you came up with this kind of out there idea, and how did you convince Shannon to do it?
I'll let Beth take it first.
Well, yes, here's what happened. Jess and I were talking, and I looked at Jess and I said, "You have gotten so much better looking during the pandemic. It's phenomenal." And I said, "Do you have video of you being this good on stage?" And she's like, "Of course not. None of us have been on stage since 2019. And frankly, some of my stuff was from 2017, 2000, whatever. I'm much better looking now." And we thought, we were like, I bet you other speakers have this problem. What if we got some speakers together and we rented a place and we pretended to be in front of people in a good way, just to get that video we need to show people that we are on stage when we're getting ready to go back. So Jess and I talked about this, and Jess, you take it from there, your next step.
Yeah, so what Beth isn't telling you is that Beth lives in Nashville and was the MPI Speaker of the Year for 2021 and got an amazing trophy and had an in-person gala, and I was super jealous because I was the MPI Tennessee Chapter Speaker of the Year 2020 and I got a virtual banquet, but I did get a same trophy. So we were polishing our trophies together when the, oh my gosh, you look so good, COVID's done great for you. We both only had one chin each that day. So then that's kind of where this came from. And we thought, what if we maybe somehow, Speaker of the Year 2020, Speaker of the Year 2021, pitched it to Beth's chapter of MPI? Would you be interested in doing a showcase that then was also a behind the scenes of how to do a showcase in this kind of hybrid post-COVID? It's probably too soon to say post-COVID unless you're in Nashville, kind of event. So then that's where the idea came from. And then we called Shannon.
And then, so Beth, give us the scoop on Shannon.
So here is a little behind the scenes. So my original thought was, we'll rent something. And I said, boy, we have these resources here. I mean, these people loved Jess so much. And, you know, we got along. MPI, we were kind of close, whatever. And we thought, well, let's ask them if they know of a venue. And seriously, Shannon got on there and she's like, I would like to be the chair. We would like to do this. We want every, like, she got so excited. Their excitement was infectious about helping me. You know, Jess was thinking big. I maybe wasn't thinking as big, but helping everyone think bigger. I mean, MPI Tennessee was like, this is an event that we would love, that y'all would love, and that would serve this amazing purpose.
And it was a great opportunity, from what I understood, to bring the two of you plus some other speakers in to let those Nashville MPI people come in person or virtually to not only see some great speakers they may want to use for future events, but also that chance to learn, how do you put on a hybrid event and make it a huge success? So Shannon, what was it when Beth first reached out to you that made you say, oh yeah, this is going to be a win-win for the meeting planners and the speakers who participate?
Yeah, it honestly, the email came to my inbox and I saw it come across and I was excited at first. Actually, I felt starstruck that I was even getting asked to be part of this team. When the email came through, I was current immediate past president for the MPI Tennessee chapter. Between the email and the event happening, I rolled off the board. And so, but I raised my hand and said, I don't want to give up this event. And so I'd love to stay involved. Although I have to really give credit to the education team, Casey and Michael, that jumped in and really took it over because they killed it. So, but they said, I don't even think the email said what they were thinking. They said, we have an idea we want to talk to you about. And honestly, with these two, I was like, I don't care. Tell me what it is. I'm in. Dunk me in something, like cover me in whatever it is, I will go and I will be there. And so we got on a call and they just told us what they were thinking, what their goals were, what their objectives were. And they said, you know, we have the speakers and what we need is the people. And one thing MPI Tennessee does really well is shows up. And that's exactly what we did. And it's more than I think any of us imagined it being at the start. And it was amazing.
So talk a little bit about the benefits to your members. So you're bringing people in from your chapter. Why are they showing up?
Yeah, so MPI Tennessee has MPI actually as a whole has two really main goals: your networking and relationship building and your education. And we just knew that these two would fill that space. We have been hit so hard by COVID, that is no secret. Tennessee started doing in-person events again not too long ago. So we are all hungry to be together in person. We're hungry to learn. We're hungry to figure out how we do this new thing in a post-COVID world. And this program offered all of that. We had about 75 people in the space for 7 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. And there was so much opportunity for networking. we had people in town from Texas, California, Connecticut, Alabama, Tennessee, of course, Georgia. I mean, people came from all over to be part of this, and that was the beauty of it. And on top of that, we had 10 speakers plus these two amazing women who emceed it, and we all left there with at least one takeaway. If you didn't have more than one, you didn't pay attention very well. But everybody left there with new friends and new tactics, and we've just heard so much positivity about it.
So, Jess, one of the things that you and Beth did in organizing who would the 10 speakers be who would come in and be part of the showcase is you thought really clearly about diversity, and not just diversity of the color of someone's skin, but you thought about the diversity of gender, of age, of topic, of where they came from in the country, so that these planners who were participating could see a cross section of really great speakers. What did it take to actually curate the lineup of speakers?
Well, this is a really disappointing answer, but when Beth and I we first came up with this idea, we were like, okay, we have to like micromanage the perfect lineup. So we're going to do like our first asks, and then when they all say they're busy, what would be the second asks? And so we came up with this kind of plan. You've met me. So of course there was like a rubric and like who would we do, and like diversity is very, very important to me. And then what ended up happening was the first string of asks, we had all, as speakers, we'd all been stuck at home for 18 months. And so I, of all people, said, okay, first string is Beth, who has been supportive of you over the last 18 months. And then I wrote down who'd been supportive of me over the last 18 months. And those were our first asks. Now, that does speak volumes to how diverse Beth and I have in our like realms of influence, right? Is that when we thought about the speakers we look up to, that are aspirational to us, and that really helped during those lowest moments during COVID that none of us are willing to admit happened now because they were far enough away, those were the people we asked first. And what turned out was that community piece isn't just specific to the MPI chapter,
Right.
but we missed each other. And every single person that was on our dreamy first list said yes. So then we were like, Shannon, do you mind if we have 174 speakers? But really, so,
like a 7-day event of just speaker showcases.
yeah.
And
so that, I mean, but that
actually,
honestly, that's how I. Sorry, Beth.
No, I'm going back to the diversity thing, though. We really did think about the different topics. So, just like the MPI closeness, the speaker closeness is amazing. So we both have 97,000 people or 97 people on our close list. It was tough. And we expected everybody to say, I'm busy. Because one thing we left out is that to make this work, we speakers had to pay. So we chipped in for the venue. Because we worked with MPI, we got great sponsors, and they did all these wonderful things. But we had to ask people who make a lot of money to say, okay, you have to give us money for the honor of speaking to people who would normally pay you. Who wants to come? And everybody's like, I'm in. Like, seriously, we were amazed. So that was eye-opening, that how much, and some of them didn't even need the video. Like, my biggest motivation was I needed something to show, I needed something in this decade to show. But a lot of people were just like, I'm just going to give you some money and come to you and be yes.
And this is probably the next question, so I might be jumping the gun. But I think one of the other interesting things that happened was in this one program, we collectively were able to deliver something that was educational for the MPI members, that also delivered exactly what the speakers needed that they were paying for. So they were kind of two agendas at once. So there was a photographer, a multi-camera videographer system happening, a live stream camera, as well as an interactive networking session. There was food, there was a reception the day before. It was a very complicated event that was supported by sponsors related to the chapter. So it was great.
Well, and I think that points out one of the things that I've always said about showcases is when speakers come and they're just about getting the video, it almost always falls flat. But when speakers come and they're serving the audience, that is when you get that special great moment, because you forgot about, oh, I have to stand this way and like keep my eyebrows down so it's good, whatever it is. Shannon, how did the sponsors feel about this event? Because that's one of the stakeholders that always in the mind of keeping them happy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I know multiple of the sponsors who have booked multiple pieces of business just because of this one event. And so they feel great. I mean, the ultimate goal is an ROI, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had a speaker friend of mine actually contact me not too long ago, maybe a month ago, and she said, hey, I need a venue in Nashville where I can do some filming and potentially a live stream. Do you have anything? And I was like, actually, perfect scenario. And that, that's been booked, and they're coming in town in 2 weeks to do a program. Fantastic. There. And so it's incredible. And MPI Tennessee is a really special organization. MPI as a whole is really special, but MPI Tennessee is really special. And this program it heightened that awareness for a lot of us. I was on a high after that event, and us as planners like to talk about the event high, and then really like the fall off after the event is over is some sort of like weird depression state that you only experience if you are an event professional. But even just having this conversation right now and remembering it, I'm like giddy. I want to like talk about it, and I can't. I want to go back and watch all the videos and look at all the pictures, and it just it provided something to all of us as members that we had been missing, and something we've never done before. It was a very different program, and I've gotten calls from leaders of other chapters like, hey, I heard about this program. I want to do something like that. Can you teach me how? And it made waves, and it's made a difference. So
fantastic.
That leads me. Yeah, no, that is fantastic. It leads me to another question. So if another MPI chapter, or if a chapter of PCMA or ASAE or any of the organizations that you know and love in the meetings business are seeing this video and they're like, oh my gosh, we would love to partner with some speakers, both locally and beyond. So I have found in my years, oftentimes in the meetings industry, we know the hoteliers, we know the meeting planners, we know the venue people, we know the transportation people. Speakers sometimes get forgotten that we are part of that meetings group. So if someone wanted to put on an event like this, how could the meeting professionals for whatever organization partner with a great group of speakers like you did? What would you tell them to do?
I'm going to tell them to call Jess and Beth.
Yes,
no,
indeed.
I think, first and foremost, all of those organizations you just mentioned have relationships. And for me, I'm such a relationship person. I believe in relationships being the core to you and everything that happens for and with you. And so I suggest starting with your relationships. Talk with the speakers you're most close to. Maybe those aren't the ones that will come to your showcase, but at least they'll give you a perspective of how you can have that conversation. Right. I'm happy to talk to anybody about it moving forward, but I think just starting with your relationships is the most important.
I'm sure that Beth will have some suggestions, but I think one of the pieces of the success is that by having Beth and I as MC, Beth is local to the chapter, so got to do all of the venues specific. Is this okay? What about this setup? stuff. I didn't have to do any of that. I don't live in Tennessee. I live in California. But in the day of, it also gave us a chance we needed to be speakers to get the video stuff that we needed, but we also had to pay attention to the event, right? And make sure that the event people were on time and had their microphones, etc. And so then it really was a partnership, and having two MCs, I think, were actually is a really key piece to the success. And Beth and I have done MC work before, but we hadn't actually MC'd together. And I would totally go on the road with this nerdy best friend of mine. Absolutely.
Well, Eliz and I are huge proponents of having a team of two MCs, because when you do that, there are so many things that make it just so much easier for the meeting planner. You can have people in two places at once, which often can't be done. Plus, you have two different sets of eyes who are watching what's going on, and you get that fun and that banter on stage. So Eliz and I give a double thumbs up to exactly what you just said about having that MC team. Great idea. Beth, anything to add?
If another MPI group wanted to do this, I would say start smaller than what we did. You can do a component of this. Yeah, it was nutty. I mean, like we said, more people than we ever thought would say yes. So we ended up with, having to do 15-minute slots, and the people get tired. You can do a component of this at your next event with 2 or 3 speakers and keep that as part of it. Like, hey, local speaker, or hey, speaker who's going to be in the area, we know you need video. We've got some wonderful people here. We know we need to see other speakers. So it's not like your traditional speaker showcase where you feel like everybody's, just there to kind of audition for the people in the room, and the people in the room have seen a lot of auditions. Because I've done speaker showcases in the past. It was a totally different vibe. Everybody knew they were getting the delivery of good stuff on both sides. And if people were to do it, have that be a part of the program rather than the whole program. I'm finding that a lot of groups right now are focusing and doing really good jobs on getting that live stream going. So you may have the videographers and people on site to be able to do that and add to the program, rather than having to, we had like 7 videographers at one point, 7 different cameras and people doing different things at different times. And I don't think you need all that to make part of this happen and make that connection among those groups of meeting organizers and people who speak at meetings.
Well, and I think that's great advice. Go ahead, Jess.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say that it also kept the focus on video, which is a hybrid component, and education. So then that was something. It was a Venn diagram that worked out for the speaker. So the focus wasn't on hire me. Right. That may have occurred, but the focus wasn't on that. No one was sold to. It was on video, which is a hybrid component. What do speakers need and what does an audience need, which are 2 very different video components. And then at the end, we did kind of a behind the scenes inside actor studio of how did this event occur. So it was an educational event about video, using a showcase as an example so that you could move through those learning components.
That's really smart. And I will say, you have inspired me. I am president-elect of my NSA chapter here in Wisconsin, and we are working with the Wisconsin chapter of ASAE right now. We don't know exactly how it's coming together, but we have committed that we're going to do something, which thank you for the inspiration. Speaking of inspiring, Tom.
Yes. Go ahead.
All right. So one of the things that Tom had a very good idea a while back.
I get one good idea every year, and I used it for this one.
Yes. The really good idea was celebrating people in the meetings industry who are doing something special, something that elevates the industry, something that is generous and giving. And I know one of you thought you were getting this award, but hey, all 3 of you are getting the Conference Hero Award, because this is such an inspiring, way to collaborate all together
Or
to make something special, something unique, and then really modeling what other people can do. Why not? Why not indeed?
Well, and congratulations to all three of you. When we came up with this idea of the Conference Hero Award, and I joke, maybe I've had one other good idea this year, but when we came up with the idea of the Conference Hero Award, what Eliz and I wanted to do is highlight people who touch the meetings industry. So whether it is speakers, whether it's meeting planners, whether it's people who are in the hotel business, something who really have had that collaboration and community spirit. And what you did with this event, we knew right when we heard about the event that they all have to win the Conference Hero Award, because what you did is you showed a way that when we reach across those different areas of the meetings business and we remember we're all part of the meetings business, great things can happen. We are so much stronger together. And I loved the idea that Eliz just shared about reaching out to your NSA chapter. So Wisconsin and ASA are trying to work together. But in most large cities, if you're a meeting planner organization, MPI or otherwise, there is probably a National Speakers Association chapter who would love to hear from you to combine to do something. So I think that's a great idea as well. So cheers to your idea and the fingers that it's going to have to inspire other groups to work together more, to rise that tide.
And you will all get one of these handy dandy, so you can actually cheers.
Fun.
That will be coming your way.
Awesome.
So thank you
I
so
want
much.
a reunion, Shannon and Jess.
I still feel
Congratulations to all of
starstruck.
you.
I've done all this work with them, and I still feel like I'm in the presence of royalty with these two and two y'all for sure. So thank you.
And now you get to share the Conference Hero Award with them.
I mean, I don't know what's better.
I don't know.
The
That's
award.
amazing. Well,
The award is better.
I mean, I don't have a Speaker of the Year award from MPI Tennessee, so
There you go.
I have, so is Beth. I think it's also very much related to kind of the feeling that happened at the showcase, which maybe is good role modeling for other chapters too. But it also took Chris, the videographer. It took Nicholas and Michael at the venue and doing all of the audio sound. It took Melanie and Casey and the rest of the board. It took all 10 speakers to just be like, yep, let's do it. What do I need to do? Sounds great. It really was wonderful. It was a wonderful community and collaborative experience, which I think coming out of 18 months of COVID is actually what Beth and I needed, other than thinner video.
And I think the best part about this program for me was everybody had a goal. The speakers all had goals, the sponsors all had goals, MPI Tennessee's board of directors all had goals. Every member or person that drove there that morning, booked a flight and hotel rooms to come, got there however they did, they had a goal. And I think every single person's goal or multiple goals was achieved in different ways. And they were all very different. And so that is the beauty of a lot of this, is this event was not just for one reason and one reason only. It was for hundreds of reasons, and we achieved them all, I think.
It's fantastic.
Nice. Well, thank you, Shannon, Jess, and Beth, for joining us here on the Conference Talk Show. It's been a delight to hear about your event, to hear about the success of it, and to imagine how many other people will be able to collaborate and create events like this because they heard this show today. So thank all of you for your sharing.
And Tom, we're going to be back next Monday, maybe with another Conference Hero. You might just have to wait and see. If you want to catch us live on Facebook, you can go to conferencetalkshow.live. If you want to watch it on YouTube, you can go to conferencetalkshow.watch. Where else can they find us?
They can find out information about Eliz Green and myself, Tom Singer. If you want to work with us to help you make your events more engaging, you can work with us as a team. You can work with us individually. You can go to conferencetalkshow.com, and right there you're going to find all the information about how cool we are and what we can do to partner with you. And then if you have somebody you want to nominate to be a conference hero, please go to conferenceheroaward.com. You can find out all the information there, and you can see all the winners that we have had since we started this award.
We'll have that up later today. Yes, indeed.
Awesome. All right.
Shannon,
thank you, everybody.
Jess, and Beth, thank you so much for joining with us today, and congratulations on the Conference Hero Award. We'll be back next Monday. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. See you soon.
Woo!